Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's live. We are on day 3 already. Can you believe it? So I am back to talk a little bit more about how we can help children's communication development. And so I have devised an approach, and I want to talk to you about that today and about why it's working so well and about how you can implement it with your child. I'm going to be looking over slightly to my right, left even, just to make sure that I have got my notes and I stay on track. So I worked with children in the NHS for 20 years, and I left in September 2018 to set up on my own, and I wanted to find a way to help parents because I always went into homes and houses and nurseries and hospitals, and I would be giving parents advice, advising them of things to do, but knowing that actually it's really difficult to make some of these changes that I'm suggesting. And, you know, the amount of time that I had to explain it was just never enough. And so I wanted to be able to work closer with parents, but all over the world. And so I set up supporting people online. And over time, I've worked with so many people in one-to-ones, on Zoom calls, in groups, and I have devised a way to help parents to become empowered to fully understand their children's needs and to use speech therapy every day in lots of different situations, because I know that being able to fit extra stuff in when you're a mum is just really difficult. It's really difficult. We're pulled from pillar to post. There's always so much to do. But I also know that if you have got a handful of strategies, you can actually make every little interaction with your child maximised speech therapy. And, you know, for some children, they need one-to-one speech therapy, they need exercises, they need practice. But for a lot of children, actually what they need is an empowering environment, and an environment that understands their needs and caters to it. And so what I wanted to do was to create something that would give parents the structure to fit this into their everyday lives. And the Can Do approach was born, and it came to me almost in a bit of a flash of like, that is what I've been grappling with, that is what I've been trying to achieve. And so there's 4 pillars of the Can Do approach, and I'm going to tell you about those today. And then within that, there's loads of strategies that you can start to use in these 4 pillars to support your child's language. And at first, it's effortful and it's not easy. It's simple, but it's hard to change the way you've always spoken. And at first there's a little bit of resistance to it. But when you start to get it and make those changes, you suddenly start to see your child changing as well. And I have run this with 64 families as it stands at the moment. And so many of those families, the families that take part in it and really engage and really decide that this is what they're going to put their effort into, they are these are the families that are seeing huge results in their children. Their children are communicating more, they're interacting more, they're making better eye contact, they're playing better. And so there's lots and lots of changes that they're seeing that are really, really positive. I'm getting feedback like, we've been having speech therapists for over a year and nothing has changed, and we've started doing this and everything has changed. And so I'm just so excited about it because I can really see that it's making a difference. One lady reached out to me yesterday and said, this is 1,000,000 times better than any speech therapy that I've had previously. And so you can kind of see that once you get into it, it really starts to make a difference. Now, I've been working with children with lots of different reasons for their language delay. And so I'm really intrigued to hear what you have to say about this and how you think it could fit in with your family. So let me know that you're watching this. Give me a hashtag watched when you've watched this video, and let me know in the comments whether you feel that this is something that could work for your child. Okay, so the Can Do approach has got 4 pillars, and these 4 pillars are where we start to pop in the speech therapy throughout the day. Now, I haven't got a huge amount of time. I want to keep this video to 20 minutes because in challenges, the videos have got to be short in order for everybody to watch them. So this is going to be kept really short. And I am going to tell you very quickly about what the 4 pillars are, and then we're going to talk about one of those 4 pillars, and I'm going to give you a job for today. I'm going to give you a task, and then I'm going to put a task post up, and I want you to come and tell me how that has got on. And I'll be back tonight for a Q&A, so you can ask me all the questions that have come up as you've thought about this in the context of your life. So we've already established where your child is at, what group they're in, which groups are kind of maybe falling behind the other groups, and where our starting points are. Now, if you come in one of my boot camps, we talk a lot more about that and a lot in depth, and I help you to work that out. How it works is people put in videos of their children, and I'm able to give feedback on, where they're up to, what the next step might be, how to tweak things. I'm kind of known as a tweaker. I kind of tweak stuff that people are doing just to change it a little bit to see that result. And I can't do all of that. So what I'm giving you is the bare bones of this, but there's lots more that I can talk to you about if you were to come in and work with me. So the first thing in the Can Do Bootcamp, the first pillar I call magic moments. Now, I touched on this a little bit in my last live, I can't remember, one of the 2 last lives, and I talked about how when you're really interested in something, you start to retain it, you're looking for more, you're wanting that. And magic moments plays on that fact about humans, that when we're interested, we want more of it and we take it in. When language develops, neurons in the brain are connected by pathways, and with practice and experience, those pathways get stronger and deeper, and the ones that are used less are pruned away, and so the strong pathways are the ones that remain. And so what we want to do is harness those moments where our child is interested and use them as opportunities for language learning support. And I call it that because I know that the more we try to teach language, the more we kind of artificial it and we make it into something that is about us trying to get our child to do it, the less likely our child is to learn and to retain. It has got to be natural, and that's why the Can Do came from, because we want the Can Do to be focused on what your child can do, what they're interested in, and how we can do it in a naturalistic way. I'm not for sitting down with flashcards or watching an app repetitively trying to teach a language input. I am about building natural conversations with children. And so magic moments is about finding those little moments where your child is interested and engaged. They're in their little rabbit hole. Maybe they've seen something that they're interested in. Maybe they are just something has sparked their interest and they're looking at it. Maybe they've got their favourite things that they like to talk about. And when they're in that moment, we're going to use the strategies that I talk about to input language. Imagine that your child is a computer and you need to input the language, not pull it out. And that's the difference that my approach teaches, because as parents, what we try to do is try to pull that language out. Can you say this? What's this? What are you doing? What can you say? It goes like this, say this, say this. And sometimes we've asked 3 or 4 questions before we've even got off the starting blocks. And so my approach teaches you to focus in. What is your child looking at? What are they interested in? What can we build into this moment that is going to teach them how to connect words, how to build their vocabulary, how to have a desire to communicate in that magic moment that your child has chosen. And at first you might think, well, I can't see any magic moments. Lots of people start the bootcamp with this. Well, I didn't see any today. There were no magic moments. But as that first week continues, more and more magic moments start to come in. And as you tune into what your child is interested in, then you start to see more. And when you see more, the momentum starts and you start to see lots. And you can have loads of these magic moments throughout the day. The next of the 4 pillars, pillar number 2, is routines reinvented. And the reason for this is because in our busy lives, we are just often on a treadmill getting through life. Tell me about it. Like, I've got 4 kids, I know exactly what it's like. You just want to get in the car, like, we just need to get in the car, otherwise we can't go. We just need to get dinner done, we just need to get cleared up, we just need to get the little one in bed, we just, and the day goes on. Now, if you've got a child where communication is difficult, there's so many moments in that time that are missed opportunities for communication. You know, you've missed that chance because it's busy and it's fast and it's happened. But when we start to look at our routines and reinvent them to be pro speech therapy, we can start to do things to give your child opportunities to communicate. And whatever stage your child is at, there are times and opportunities to give them the opportunity to communicate with you. So, for example, if your child has a yogurt after dinner, the chances are that you know that it's strawberry yogurt that your child always has, and you know that they like the plastic spoon that's at the bottom with the white handle, and you know that they can't remove the lid, so you remove the lid, and you know that they like to sit in a certain place at the table, and you deliver said yogurt with said spoon with the lid off in front of them. Zero communication. But what if we changed it? What if we gave them a choice between blueberry and strawberry yogurt? You know, there's never a million years they're going to choose strawberry yogurt, the blueberry yogurt. You might even think, oh, my child can't even make a choice. But what if we gave them that choice anyway? We give them a choice, the 2 objects. Here's a blueberry yogurt and a strawberry yogurt. Blueberry yogurt and strawberry yogurt. Which one do you want? They choose the blueberry. You give them the blueberry, they pull a face, you give them the strawberry. But we've had communication. We've had a choice. We've had a protest, and we've had the right yogurt given. We've had an exchange. There's been moments where your child has been able to tell you what's in their mind and communicate it with you. What if then we give them the spoon without the yogurt? They might be frustrated, or we give them the wrong spoon. We give them that big metal tablespoon that is not going to fit in the yogurt pot. What happens then? What do? What if we give them the yogurt pot with the lid not taken off? What if we give the yogurt but we put it at the table at the opposite end of the table where they're not sat? All these things give your child an opportunity to tell you that something is wrong, something is not right, and something is different. And they give you the opportunity to react to it in a way that you're having the best conversation ever. Now, this is just one tiny example of how we can change routines reinvented, because there's a gazillion other things that we can do. And you might be sat there thinking, well, my child doesn't eat, or my child hasn't got, can't have a choice, or my child, wouldn't make that choice anyway, or my child is intolerant of yogurt, or whatever it is about this scenario that doesn't just quite fit. I get it. And there's a million other things that we can do to change. Routines Reinvented starts with one small change, and it builds to create a world of exchange, of communication at whatever level that is at with your child. And with choices comes control, and with control comes increased happiness, even in the absence of talking. So those are the first 2. The third one is together time. Now, together time is about a time where you join your child and do what they are doing, and follow their lead entirely. They get to choose where it is, when it is, how long it lasts. You just dedicate 10 minutes of time to your child. Even 5 minutes works, of no background noise. Your phone is in the other room, so you're not just kind of keep picking up the phone and checking it. There's nobody else around. It's just you and your child, and you are totally focused on them. And your body language and your face is saying, I'm here, I'm with you, and I'm having a really lovely time in this moment. We are connected. And by taking that time to get that connection, children's desire to communicate and share what is going on really increases. And this is a time where we bring out the kind of, I call it the toolkit of strategies, because in that box I have loads of strategies that we can use to help your child to either start making eye contact in order to learn, or maybe to begin to use first words, or to encourage repetition, or to build vocabulary, or to begin to put words together. Whatever it is, we've got strategies that we can use in that together time to really give this brilliant moment of speech therapy that is right for your child, is working on their next steps that we've identified, and is going to really work because we've got that bit right. And the fourth is invitation to play. And invitation to play is about bringing in new and different activities for your child to expand. Now, lots of children have very rigid ideas about what they like and don't like. Lots of children with language difficulties have difficulties with playing, but playing and language are interlinked, and it's important that we look at play and we develop play in the same way as we're trying to develop the language. And so invitations to play, we bring in loads of ideas of things that you can plan for your child, things you could set up beforehand. We talk about how to organise play areas to make them really conducive to choice and to not being overwhelmed and to having the right toys. I used to own a nursery. I set up a nursery for children with language difficulties, and I owned it and ran it for 3 years. And in that time, I learned all about how to use toys and store toys and rotate toys and not let toys become overwhelming in order for children to play and develop their play. We want them to be able to play with us. We want them to be able to play with their peers, and we want them to be able to play independently. And those 3 aspects come into this invitation to play. And so we really do loads of work around creating a really great play space, and that's where we can link just so all of it meshes with what Vicky talks about, and all of it has to have sensory at the heart of it, which is why I was so keen to do this challenge with Vicky, because often it's hard for parents to get a hold of an OT, but it's really hard for speech therapists to work with an OT as well, because there's just not enough provision of either. And I always worked in a very multidisciplinary way when I worked for the NHS, and I used to insist upon having that multidisciplinary team around, because there is actually you can't have one without the other. If your child's got massive sensory needs, their communication is going to be affected and their play is going to be affected. But how do we bring it all in together to help children to make progress and to benefit from it? And so those are my 4 pillars, and within that, amongst it, we put in all these strategies. So what I want you to do today is I want you to find some magic moments, and I want you to find those magic moments and identify them and think, this is one of my child's magic moments. And I want you to share in the comments of the thread a magic moment that you have seen. And when that magic moment happens, I don't want you to ask a question. And I want you to be really honest about it, and I want you to really listen to what you say and listen to everybody else around you and how they talk to your child. How many questions have you heard? I want you to find a magic moment, and the second thing I want you to do is this afternoon, for at least an hour, maybe a couple of hours, I want you to listen out for questions being asked to your child who's got language difficulties and to any other child you've got in your home. And more so, do you hear where we ask a question followed by a question followed by another question when there was no chance to answer the first question? A 3 kind of question sequence. So that's what I want feedback from. And tonight I'll be on live answering your questions about this and about those magic moments, and about what you think about this idea and how you can see it working within your family. Can't wait to hear how you get on. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you tonight. Take care.